If you are coming to Barcelona to study or here to visit, there are many different ways to get from the airport to the main city center. In this video, I'm going to go through some of the different ways you can get to the airport and the different costs of both, because there are quite a few different options, some more affordable, some a little more expensive, and then of course some faster as well. First, we're going to start with the main option that most people know, and that is a cab or a taxi. There is Uber here and FreeNow and Cabify and some other apps, but normally at the airport, just catching the regular cab there is going to be the fastest and cost pretty much the same. So if you're going to take a cab, I would definitely recommend that option. And if you are a student coming here to study, I would also recommend that for your first time here, especially if you have a couple pieces of luggage and you've never been. And you know, some of the other modes of transportation could be a little confusing if you're new to traveling within Europe and some of the public transit and getting around and different things like that. For the price of the cabs, it really depends on if you need a van, like a bigger car, or a regular like sedan taxi, because the starting price on both of those is a couple euro difference. And then the bigger vans cost a little more per mile as well. But depending on also traffic, because it is a time-based thing, unfortunately. So if you're coming here during rush hour, it's probably going to be a little more expensive, depending on also where in the city you are. If you're farther from the airport versus closer, definitely. But on average, it's about 22 to around 30 euros is pretty standard for a regular car. If you're taking the bigger van, it's probably going to be about 25 to 35. It could possibly be a little less, you'd be pretty lucky, but it could possibly cost more if there is quite a bit of traffic. So it's just something to take into consideration. But if it's your first time here, you're really nervous, you don't know public transit or Barcelona at all, that's probably going to be your easiest and best option. The second best option, I would say, is the Aerobus, A-E-R-O bus. It is a bus that runs 24/7, about every 20 minutes from the airport, and it has multiple different stops in the city, only 3 or 4, so it's another very fast option that is more affordable than taking a cab, but it only stops in certain places, so it's nice if you live pretty close to there, then it's easy to get back and forth. But if you live super far, it might add a lot of time, because then you might have to take another mode of public transit from one of those stops, depending on where you live or where you're going or different things like that. One single ticket, I believe, is about 570 or 670, and a round trip is around 11. You do have to, if you do use the round trip, have to use it within a certain time frame. I haven't taken in a while, but normally it gives you about 10 days. So if you're coming here for that short time, or you're going to take another trip soon, you can get a round trip. But if not, you can just buy a one-way. You can buy it right on the bus, super easy, just pay on your phone. Really works out well, and it stops in a lot of the main sites like Plaza España, Plaza Catalunya, Universitat, a lot of the main stops, and it runs good. It's normally a very efficient and good way to get around. We take that a lot for weekend trips because it's pretty fast. And if you live close enough to walk or anything, especially if you're just doing a weekend trip, you don't have a lot of luggage, so it makes it quite a bit easier as well. Your next best option is probably going to be the train or the metro, specifically the L9 line. There's, I think, 11 or 12 different lines in total in Barcelona that are included on a metro card. You can buy different cards at the metro stop there, or if you already have one previously or whatever. This one is definitely kind of more of a local-ish option, but that metro is included in one of the monthly or the swipe passes here, so it makes it very affordable option to get to and from. It does take a little longer because it is normally, the higher the line, the more outside or on the outskirts of the city it's going to be. So unless you happen to live along that line, you're probably gonna have to take that and another one. But it's very economical, and depending if another one of your metros intersects with that one, then it could be an easy option. A lot of people don't know, and it does go from Passeig de Gracia, one of the main stops in the city. So if you're coming from there, that's definitely a good option to take. And lastly, there are 2 public buses you can take. I can't remember the line numbers, but I definitely wouldn't really recommend that unless you're really on a budget and can't figure out the metro, because the bus, if you already have a ticket, swipe costs just the same as one swipe for the metro. And it is included on the pass, but it normally takes a really long time to get in the city. Not that the airport is super far from city center, but because it has so many stops, it will easily take you 45 minutes to an hour or more to get into the city. And of course, depending on where you live, if you live more towards Barcelona, like on the east side, it could take like hours. So I definitely wouldn't recommend it. It's worth it to either do the Aerobus or pay for a cab. The cabs really aren't too bad, especially if you're sharing with others, because if it's, 25 euros or something, let's say for a weekend trip and there's 4 of you, then it's only about $6. So it'd be similar cost to, taking the Aerobus, and then you get straight to where you're going, and it'll be probably a little faster as well, depending on traffic. So it's definitely a nice option to take if you are here visiting as well. These are the main modes of transportation you can take to and from the Barcelona El Prat airport into Barcelona city center. They do have buses and other options if you're going to Sitges or somewhere else. We can have lots of options there. If you're going to Barcelona too, Barcelona is connected to Barcelona on the I believe it's the L4? No. One of the purple, the purple line, goes to Barcelona from Barcelona. So if you're able to take the Aerobus, by Plaza Catalunya, there's a stop a couple blocks from there for the purple, or you can take a cab or bus or whatever. It's definitely easy to get to, but it of course depends where you're going and stuff, and you can do some research, but sometimes Google Maps and some sites online don't have the best information. So that's why I want to make this video. This is part 2 in a series, doing a lot of stuff to help, especially international students coming for study abroad or people visiting the city, because I was in their same situation 11 years ago now, which is crazy. But just kind of helping out and doing the basics, because I know I had a lot of questions when I was going through the same process, and I hope this helps. And if you have any other questions, leave them down below, and I will see you in part 3.